I'm that bookish mom, and today I'm going to be filming part 1 of my July wrap-up. The reason I'm splitting this up into 2 videos is because my June wrap-up, I had a lot of books. I might as well have made 2 videos, so I felt rushed when I was talking about the books because I was squeezing it into one video. This July, I also read a lot of books, and so instead of squeezing all the books into one video, I'm going to make a 2-part video. That way I feel like I can talk a little bit more about the books that I read. So the first book that I read in the month of July was City of Bones by Cassandra Clay. I finally read it. Like I mentioned in the last video that I talked about this book, this is a very well-loved series that I felt like I not needed to read, but wanted to read because it's such a loved series on BookTube. I did enjoy it, but don't hate me. I gave it 3 stars. I didn't absolutely love it. It wasn't one of my favorites, but I'm hoping to like the other books in the series more. But what I do love about this edition is the illustrations that we get. They're absolutely beautiful. But I did enjoy the story and the plot. I thought it was really interesting. I did want to get to the end because I wanted to know what on earth was going on. I do like the fantasy aspect that it had with demons and demon hunters, and it was good. I enjoyed it, and it was super fun to read. Another book that I read in July was The Husband's Secret by Liane. I never know how to say her first name, but Moriarty. I think I have the last name down, but anyways, this was a roller coaster for me. Okay, the mystery in this book was really good. So if you don't know what this book is about, of course the husband has a secret, but his secret does not just affect his wife and his kids. It affects a lot more people, and I was just mesmerized by this book. I had to keep reading, and I finished it pretty quickly. I felt like I really liked the plot in this book. It was just so heart-wrenching, and it got a lot of emotions out of me. Like, I was pretty heartbroken by the end of this book. It was pretty intense for me, but I enjoyed it, and it did get 4 stars out of me. It's told in different perspectives of different characters, and I just liked getting multiple sides of one story. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to, and just I don't know what else to say about this book. It was really good. Love at First Sight by Josh Sundquist was another book that I read this month. I gotta say, I was not... By the end of the book, I was a little let down, just a little bit. A boy gets his sight back after having a surgery. He has a girlfriend that he finds out does not look like what he expected. I was a little disappointed in the main character and how he reacted and acted towards the girl when he found out what she really looked like. He felt betrayed, but she was not the one who betrayed him. It was his friends who told him that she was pretty and beautiful and all that. And so I felt like he took it out on the wrong person, and it was not her who lied to him. And so I was disappointed by the main character. The events of the book, other than the surgery and learning how to see, were not as exciting or interesting as I was hoping. I gave it 2 stars, but it was okay. Fire with Fire is the second book in the Burn for Burn trilogy by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. I love this series a lot. I love the first book, Burn for Burn. It really hooked me. It just was amazing. I loved it. I thought I was going to get more of a twist, because at the end of the first book, you're getting hints of something that is going on that kind of leaves you thinking that is this a contemporary or a thriller or you know, with a paranormal twist. So at the end of that first book, I mentioned, I feel like this is going to reveal, the second book's going to reveal so much about what's going on, and it did not reveal much. I mean, you really don't find out what's going on until the third book, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. So this was a good second book. Since I read the second book and the third book back to back, I'm kind of having trouble differentiating what happened in this book and what happened in the third book, Ashes to Ashes. But what I can say is I thought I was going to get a lot more of explanations in this book, and I didn't, but I still loved it. It was really good, kept me hooked, and after I finished it, I had to read Ashes to Ashes. So this is where you get more explanations, and I was completely off track, let me just tell you. Okay, I knew there was a kind of paranormal element going on with these books, with this trilogy, but I was completely off on what kind of paranormal element that was going on. So I don't want to say what I thought it was, because if you think, as you're reading this, what I was thinking, I don't want to ruin it for you, because whoa, plot twist, and so not what I was expecting at the end of the book. And I don't want to ruin that for you, because I really enjoyed it, and I want you to enjoy it too if you plan on reading this series. But I did love it. The ending was not what I was expecting, and it was just so good though. And there's an epilogue at the end, which I loved, because at the end of the book, sometimes I'm just like, no, hey, I want to know what happens next. Okay, where do we go from here? I know you're ending the book, and I know you think it's a good ending, and people love, you know, open-ended endings, but I need to know. So I loved that there was an epilogue that told me, like, okay, a year from now, here's where the characters are, and here's what happened. I like that. I like that. Okay, not many people like that, and I'm okay with that. You don't have to, but I like it, and I need it. I need it. That's the kind of person I am. Anyways, Fire with Fire, I gave 5 stars. Ashes to Ashes, I took off 0.25, okay? A quarter of a star, just because of where the characters... See, like I said, I love that it has an epilogue, but I'm not saying that I loved what happened in the epilogue. So a quarter of a star I took off just because of what happens in the epilogue. So I'm not going to say why, because you need to read it and you need to find out for yourself what happens. But it was still good, and I still love this book, and I love this series. It's one of my new favorite trilogies. A World Without You by Beth Revis. I just want to say something before I get into it. When I first read the synopsis on the inside of the cover, I thought, this boy has illusions of traveling into the past, and it's a superpower. Okay, he's not delusional, he's not having illusions, he's not crazy. He has legit superpowers, but other people think he's crazy. So he goes to a school for crazy kids, but really it is a school full of kids with superpowers. That is what I thought this book was about, because I read the synopsis wrong, or I didn't read it all the way through. Now, if you plan to read this book, I suggest that you go into this book thinking about it the way I just described it. The way I read the synopsis is how I feel is the best way to go into reading this book. Because the synopsis here gives a spoiler that I was not aware of. Okay, I got through half of the book and I decided I'm gonna go back and read the synopsis. I need to go back and read the synopsis. And when I read the synopsis, I ruined the book for myself. I spoiled this book for myself. And I think that is why I gave it 2 stars. Because I spoiled it for myself. And since I knew what was going on, I was like, there's no point in reading it now. I already know what's going on and what happened. So, not going to say anything else other than if you want to read this book, if you're interested in this book, if you have this book, it's on your TBR, go into it with the synopsis that I gave you. Do not read the cover because it totally spoils you. It just, I was so disappointed. I was like, why did I go back and reread the synopsis? Otherwise, I think I really would have enjoyed this a lot more and would have gave it a higher rating. It's a really good book, and I'm not going to say anything else about it because if I give you more info on it, I'm going to spoil you, and I don't want to because it sucks to be spoiled. And I'm going to talk about one more book for this part 1 of my July wrap-up, and that is Furthermore by Tahira Mafi. And I love this book. It was so good, and honestly, the cover, it's just beautiful. Like, I'm happy just to own this book because of how beautiful it is. And I did tab it. I don't tab every single book I read. It is completely random on how my brain works and which books I decide to tab or not, but I did tab this book. I think this is the only book that I tabbed this month. This is about a girl who is without color. As you can tell, she has no color on her. But the world that she lives in is full of color, and being full of color is considered to be absolutely beautiful, and you have so much more magic, and your magic is so much more powerful the more colorful you are. And she just doubts herself and who she is, and she just does not feel like she belongs, and she feels kind of worthless and useless, and her mom is kind of not the kindest towards her after her father disappears. So after her father disappears, she just feels completely lost. Her father is the one person who is always telling her that she's so beautiful, and, you know, just showing his love for her, and is just there for her, and he's just an amazing dad. And I love the dad in this book. He is my favorite dad that I've ever read about in a story ever. So the whole book is her befriending a boy that she really does not like because he was really mean to her, and so he comes to her asking for help, and it turns out he is trying to find her father. So she also wants to find her father, so they team up. Now, I love the narrating in this book. The narrator in this book is amazing, and I love it. This book is so different from the Shatter Me series, and I really like the Shatter Me series, but this is so good, and it's a middle grade, so it's younger than the Shatter Me series, but I love this. I love this book, and like I said, the plot is just so good. The narrating is amazing and so funny, and I love the main character, Alice. I love her, and the events in this book are just crazy, fun, awesome, and I'm so glad I read it, and I'm so glad that I have it. This was such a good book, and I did give it 5 stars. So yeah, I'm going to end this video on a high note that I did love Furthermore, and I thought it was amazing, and I love the dad, and you can just tell how much love is in this father-daughter relationship just by, you know, the fact that she is going on this crazy journey with a boy that she doesn't even like just to find her dad. And so I loved it. I love my dad, so I would absolutely do anything in my power to find him if he ever went missing. So I love this book. Love it. So those are the first 6 or 7 books, I lost count, that I read this month. Like I said, I'm splitting this wrap up into 2 videos because I wanted to talk more about these books without having like a 50-minute video. So part 2 will be up soon, and thanks for watching.